We're ready whenever y'all are. Is the media ready?
Okay, you have a lady standing right directly behind you. You can't see what she was in the attic.
So, well, good.
Go ahead.
Everybody ready? Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. My name is Jonathan Sines, and I'm an attorney for Liberty Institute. We're legal counsel for King Street Patriots, along with their work through the Vote initiative. We're here to set the record straight today on some issues. There's been a lot of reports about what's going on in Harris County regarding election issues and regarding poll watchers. We all know that it's legal to have poll watchers and then to be involved in the process. The organization that's here with us today and other members that are poll watchers are interested in protecting the integrity of the vote. That is a simple, basic, not only Texan, but American principle that we think all people would be in favor of. Now, some of the things that have been going on have been mischaracterized. Here's what's not being talked about. And some of the things that have been happening to poll watchers. Some of them have been harassed, even physically assaulted, and really have been made to feel like they were not welcome to be a part of this process, simply following the law. One of the things that we have today for you that we want to talk about and share with you is there's been so many concerns about harassment and attacks and the way volunteer poll watchers have been treated. And let's keep that in mind. What we're talking about today is volunteer poll watchers that of their own time have decided to be involved in this process that they feel is so important in regards to protecting the integrity of our votes. We have a letter today for you that we sent to the Department of Justice. We are so concerned about the inappropriate way that volunteer poll watchers are being treated that we sent a letter to the Department of Justice requesting them to have federal officials, election officials, come down to be a part of the poll watching process because of some of the inappropriate things that have been going on so far. We've even invited the Department of Justice to come to the True the Vote Initiative's meetings regarding poll watchers and that type of training. That's how serious we are about protecting the integrity of the vote. That's how serious and concerned the folks are here, and that we realize that it's time for the federal Department of Justice to step in and not allow this type of harassment and inappropriate things to happen in our polling locations. I have here with me Catherine Engelbrecht, who's going to talk a little bit about her work, and then she's going to introduce some poll watchers that have had some experiences, some unfortunate experiences here in the Harris County area. Yeah.
Thanks everybody for coming out. True the Vote is a volunteer-run organization. The whole goal of True the Vote was to make sure that everybody had the right to participate in an election that was free and fair. Right now, we are at 36 of the 37 early voting locations, just filling the void that needed to be filled for volunteers. There hadn't been poll watchers in a long time, but now there are people who want to get engaged, and this is a great way still to get engaged, to be a poll watcher, to make sure that the elections are conducted in a way that makes everybody feel like they are having their vote counted. And so, to that end, we found ourselves in a very precarious situation. Certainly had no idea that we would be calling a press conference of this nature today. Many of the poll watchers being attacked are soccer moms and senior citizens who volunteer their time because they love their country and want to ensure a free and fair election. The True the Vote poll watcher trainings are for anyone who wants to get involved, and attacks on them are shameful. This has never been about party. It's always been about principle. We've posted on our website that either party is welcome. This is so important to our community. We want to introduce a couple of volunteers who have had some experiences at the polls that I think you need to hear about. First is Shirley Hendry.
Could you first spell your last name for us? Say your name.
Sure. Catherine Engelbrecht. Last name is E-N-G-E-L-B-R-E-C-H-T.
Catherine with C.
C-A-T-H-E-R-I-N-E.
Yes, I was poll watching yesterday, and what I observed, it wasn't anything physical or any abusiveness toward me. It was more the watching of hundreds of people coming in to vote and giving assistance to the level of turn the dial, okay, there, hit enter. And I saw this with hundreds of people who were not language impaired or disabled. They just wanted apparently to have the assistance that they thought they needed. And I just can't believe that we have hundreds of people assisted in that manner.
Could you spell your name for us? And say your name, good.
Shirley, S-H-I-R-L-E-Y, Andrews, A-N-D-R-I-E-S.
Can you tell us where you were?
I would prefer not to. There's so much tension in the county right now with all of us volunteers that it serves no purpose.
And we'll take questions afterwards, just so you know, after the folks have been able to get their presentation. Yeah.
I'm Francine Cecil, and this is my husband Tom, and we just thought we would do our civic duty and stop screaming at TV. We had to get off our rear ends and do something different, and we thought we would be actively participant in the process, and we thought, okay, well, what can we do? And so Tom and I went on the first day of early voting over at one of the polls, and the day started pretty normally, I would think, and this first we did, first time we'd ever done anything like this. And around 11:30 in the morning, we had what I thought was a voter come into the room, and this was a very hostile reverend that approached us and asked us why we were there. He was shouting at us, and he wanted to know why Tom was in the middle of the room watching the process. There were clerks, as Shirley had mentioned, assisting voters, highly suggesting voting straight Democrat Party. It was really incredible. It was just you would have not believed it had you not been there, but and then he was just vile. Actually, he was very scary. I hadn't been that afraid since I was a little girl. And when I got back over here to report the incident, I kept it together until I got here. Because this is not the way it's supposed to be. We should have a free and fair election. No one should be afraid to go into the polls. No one. And so,
Can you tell us your name?
Francine, F-R-A-N-C-I-N-E. My last name is Fiesel, F-I-E-S-E-L. Sorry.
While I was in Iraq, my wife called me, and we Skype a lot, so we were able to keep in touch. And she heard about the King Street Patriots, and we knew about the election fraud in the last election, and the Black Panthers up in Philadelphia, and et cetera, et cetera. So we decided that we would volunteer our time and try to do more than just vote. You know, you got to be able to step up to the plate. So when I got back, we came down and we went through the training here. We went out to for the polling station. Preceding the Reverend arriving, there was one gentleman that came in, and he seemed to be upset that there were people that weren't of his color in the polling place, and he was a little upset, and we're instructed not to talk to the voters. And even if they talk to you directly, we're supposed to step back and just point them to one of the county judges or whatever. And he left, and okay, well, we got one dissatisfied customer, okay, and it drove on. And then approximately an hour later, the Reverend arrived, and he took my wife and the judge, the presiding judge, and the assistant judge, or whatever, out to the passageway and was talked to them for a while. And I stayed in the room. That's where I was supposed to be. And then he came back in. He demanded our certificates that we were poll watchers. He demanded that. We wanted to know, which has our address and our home phone and all that on it. The presiding judge gave it to him, and then they faxed it someplace. I don't know where they faxed it to. He came back in there, and he was demanding, and he was actually like he was some sort of a government official, or he was officially on official business in the polling place, and he was there for in and out of the polling area for approximately an hour, and then he left, and it was uncalled for. We went back and we looked through the rules and regulations, and personnel assigned to the polling area are supposed to be authorized, the judge, the assistant judge, the poll watchers, and the county clerk, and that's all who's supposed to be in there. And apparently this gentleman had no authority to be in there whatsoever. He was acting under nobody's authority, state or federal, and he was just in there harassing us and generally making a big stink. And that's pretty much what happened.